Hello everyone and welcome to the third round of the 2020 Asia Open presented by Innova Champion Discs. We're here at the Kaohsiung Metro Park, which is on the south side of the island of Taiwan. Terry Miller, the disc golf guy, going to call the shots for you here as we're bringing it to you on Sunday morning. The same five familiar faces we saw just the day before during round number 2, but the leaderboard has switched up a little bit. We got Philo Brathwaite. He is in the lead now at 22 under par. He has that 2-stroke advantage over Jacky, 4 strokes over Perkins and Conrad, and 6 over Manabu Kajiyama. And Philo's first drive of the day is a great one. And I think that is literally the first drive of the day. As we were coming in from the hotel, it's about a 25-minute drive. And I know Philo, Nate, and James Conrad all didn't get a lot of practice in. We showed up just a few minutes before the round was getting started. And Jacky trying to pick up where he left off the day before. We got to the course. There were a few practice putts maybe thrown, and that was about it. They are starting an hour earlier than we did the previous day. So it is Sunday morning. It's about 8:30 a.m., and it's a little bit chillier than what we saw in the afternoon yesterday at this point. We'll see if Conrad can fully clear it. He doesn't quite. Similar to what we saw from Perkins. So they're going to be both short and left as I pan back over to the basket. You can see by the flags, not too much action there. And thanks to the internet, I have been officially corrected that it should be pronounced Manabu. I do appreciate the direct feedback. As I said yesterday, halfway through and hearing Nate say it a number of times, it made me second guess if I've been saying it wrong for the last 10 years myself. So I do appreciate it. The jumper by Perkins isn't quite enough. And Conrad has a similar distance, a little bit more action in the way. He hits off front cage. And he stares it down. He had one unfortunate bounce back the day before. And Manabu on Saturday's play during the previous round, just not up to what I normally see from him. I've now known him for over 10 years. Quite surprised to see him struggle on the putting green yesterday. But today he starts off strong, as does Jacky. Jacky's got a birdie of his own. And your leader, Philo, will maintain that 2-stroke advantage. And we'll see a little bit of cleanup here. Some had asked what bag that James there is sporting, what new disc golf bag. I think that's pretty much just a generic hiking bag of sorts, or regular backpack, not made by a disc golf manufacturer. Sometimes when you're mixing your business with pleasure, you make a compromise, and in this case, he decided to throw all his discs in that bag, and he's off and running. We may see a little bag plug later, though, by Innova, and we'll tell you what Nate Perkins is throwing. You'll see it then. Philo's drive was short and left. So great to hear all the positive feedback, what you guys are impressed with by Jacky's game. Some talked about his just absolute raw power. Some talked about his composure and his mental game. Some talked about his routine. He just really is a well-rounded player at this point. So it's great to be highlighting him and showing him here. Manabu a little bit short and left. That one's also caught up on the left side. I'm not sure if it was this hole or others where I heard both James and Nate talking about just how difficult it actually is to get to some of these pins. 390 uphill clearly plays a lot longer. And then watching someone like Jacky have almost no problem getting to the pin or beyond, again, just is a testament to his power. Philo pushes off to the right. It should be an easy par for him. Now after Jacky has come up short, he's still looking with an uphill putt. No wind to speak of. Yeah. High and tight, but it works. As he takes his gentle stroll up to the pin. I'm not sure if that's a cultural respect thing or if that's just his natural demeanor, walking a little bit more slowly, maybe trying to just keep his emotions in check. Maybe it's respect, like I said, for his card mates to not get too excited, but whatever it is, it seems to be working for him. Conrad's going to take his second par of the round. And with Jacky's birdie, that brings him within one stroke of Philo as the leader. With the only one making any movement here. And we're going to head over to hole number 3. Thank you to the PDGA for the endless support, not just of my video blogs, but of growing disc golf. I've been a PDGA member since 1995. Yes, I'm that old. Signed up when I was in high school. I've moved over to the catch on 3, trying to see the exact landing zone. It's totally blind from the tee, so I thought I would try to go maybe we're 2/3 of the way down the hole, and you can see where that is relative. He's going to be just deep of the basket. However, not all decisions are good ones, so we'll see if we can follow all of them. And that one's going to be to the right of the pin from that vantage point. And dropping right next to the basket is Manabu. A little green flag action saying he's inbounds. Not much penetration there, but he still is going to have a putt. And that's also going to be on the right side. So if you do not clear this portion of the sidewalk, I believe that is considered out of bounds. So far in the 10 throws we've seen, no one has come up short. 10 throws over the last 2 rounds, and Jacky there had gone way deep. Philo started the round with a 2-stroke advantage, and with the birdie, he regains his 2 strokes. Or should I say sets it back to 2. Really a little bit deceiving from where I was originally standing to see that 4 out of the 5 were actually as close as they are. As we see birdies from Conrad and Perkins, Manabu also right next to the pin. So Jacky, the only one left out of the birdie party here. He's going to lose a stroke to the entire card on hole 3 with the par, as I thank all of my Patreon supporters. So I move over to somewhere near the catch here on hole number 4, trying to get about pin high as this one is uphill 253 feet, probably plays closer to 300. Little redirect there by Manabu. He's still going to be putting for birdie. And I love the shot here by Nate Perkins, who goes deep. He seems so comfortable throwing those forehand shots, especially uphill. He's got such great control on them. And some of the talking that you may hear in the background, there's actually a PA system of sorts that's in the park. So if there's some kind of public announcement going on, there's speakers located throughout the park as we watch Jacky go just a bit deep and right. And so sometimes you will hear, and it kind of freaked me out a couple different times, where I just thought someone was talking, but it's really a speaker system throughout the park. That's Philo's first miss of the round in terms of makeable putts. Conrad answers with a solid birdie of his own. Yeah, and just to put it on record, I do actually trim out a considerable amount of time that we see from Jacky's routine. If there's one pro tip that I dare give back to him, would be that he needs to just be a little bit more conscious of his 30 seconds that he's allotted. I feel like there's a few times, and I only say this in the most polite way because I know he's a newer player to the PDGA scene, but there was probably a good 10 to 12 seconds that I trim off regularly as he's lining up his shots. Answers there with a great comeback after hitting the top of the basket. So maybe that's a teachable moment for all, that you do have, in fact, just 30 seconds. Once you're clear of distraction, you have 30 seconds to take your shot. And on shorter putts like that, Nate Perkins is never in jeopardy of that. Great birdie. Philo taps in a little bit frustrated. Got to thank Disc Baron, who's a huge supporter and sponsor of both the Disc Golf Guy video blog series along with Smashbox TV. So Disc Baron, we really appreciate it. Great customer service, great online ordering. Please check them out on discbaron.com. Now this is the first par 4 that we see, and I know I talked a little bit about how some of these might be considered soft par 4s. This plays uphill and then onto a plateau as the spotter's chasing that down to mark it. And 367 may not seem that far, but when you're throwing uphill this much, plus you have the trees to clear, most of your 940, 950 rated players and below are really going to struggle to get anywhere near that plateau. These guys are almost making it look easy, though. Philo saying he got over the trees, and he did have a crush. And that's just a smash. There's no other term for it. Easily clearing the trees, putting himself way up there. That's a huge crush. James contemplated back and forth as to how he was going to attack this. Finally, he settles on the forehand here. Put that on a ticker somewhere. You don't see too many forehands from James Conrad. Executed it well, though. Manabu right up there, no problems. Do it. Ah, He calls it halfway. What a shot by Nate Perkins. Both him and I were getting our feet adjusted to make sure we got in position for the shot, and then he fires and cans it. That's one way to take down the eagle here on hole 5. The forehand flick in. And Philo did make it all the way to the top. He's got a clear look here at eagle as well. He cashes it. Philo with a little momentum. Not quite as exciting as the one we just saw from Perkins, but still a 2 on the scorecard. Now on back-to-back holes, we've seen Jacky go high on his putt, and both times he's left himself with a little bit of a tester on the comeback. Let's see if he's got that composure everyone was talking about. No big deal. Manabu's going to be looking at the easy tap-in birdie. Again, a little bit of a soft par 4. So we're going to see a pair of eagles, and then the rest will be birdies. Nate Perkins also packing light. Here's another option from Innova Champion and their bags. So with the throw in, Perkins here has the honors. We move over to hole 6. Now this one's over 100 feet longer, plays slightly downhill. Perkins making it tough for me to follow here. Well, okay, it's not his fault. That's really all me. Philo begging for it to get up. There's OB on the right-hand side here. Everybody's just trying to make sure they stay away from that. James doesn't quite turn it over as much as he needs to, and he's way out in the wide open left-hand side. We saw a number of those shots out there yesterday afternoon. If you're going to miss anywhere, left side is fine. You've got plenty of room. A little bit more direct from Manabu, sorry. And launched out into left field there by Jacky. Can he do it again? No, not quite, but quick pro tip for anyone filming Nate Perkins. When he's throwing a forehand, he usually does so pretty quickly. He gets up and throws maybe a little bit quicker than his routine for his backhands. So you got to be in position and ready to go for those shots. Manabu with the easy layup. And really, I think that's what we're going to see here. They're just trying to get it right next to the pin. Still walk away. When you're this far out, of course, making ones, I would think most would still consider this a bonus. But just making sure you're going to put yourself near the pin. Although James not being shy with it. We saw 5 birdies here on hole 6 yesterday afternoon. No one was really in threat of getting the eagle yesterday. Solid comeback by Conrad. Now, remember, they are in round number 3, and there will be a cut to the top 20 MPO players. Will move into 9 more holes for the semifinals, and from there they will cut from 20 MPO players down to 4 MPO players. I say that because I know this hole is one that will be used in both the semis and the finals, so we'll see it a little bit later as well. Innova Champion Discs are presenting sponsor of the event, as well as a huge supporter in the coverage that I'm providing here. Utilizing all of the fairway as he turns that over. I think he could have used a little more height to it as that was trying to pan out and maybe carry toward the pin. Like we see a few holes later in hole number 10. Correction, I think that's maybe hole number 15. The cart path, or the sidewalk I should say, is on the right-hand side. You're playing uphill. It slopes down, and then there's an OB area. These 2 holes I feel like are nearly identical, except for hole 15 is a little bit shorter. So an errant shot to the right could find OB, but you do have plenty of room. And if you're scared of the OB on the right, just bail out anywhere to the left and you're totally fine. Wow, full flex. It looks like that might have gone long, which most people are not worried about doing on this hole. See if Manabu can get something going. I feel, although he is here in the top 5, he's having a solid tournament. It's just not quite the Manabu we're all used to. I think of him as nearly unbeatable in so many tournaments that we've seen him play in. And he's just not quite as sharp. I'm not sure if other things going on or have kept him from practicing possibly. I know he said he works, I think he said he works 3 jobs. As Philo's a little frustrated with his wind read there. Not only did he say he works 2 or 3 jobs, but then all of his friends ask him for help. So Manabu, a very busy guy. Oh no, and unfortunately that one caught up with him quick. And you just heard the leaves rustling around. That's exactly why I didn't want to get up and actually move into another position. I was worried about possibly distracting him before he was getting set up there. So that's why maybe he wasn't quite in ideal position. So we're going to have pars all around, and Manabu is going to give one back to the rest of the lead card here by taking the lone bogey. And we're going to move over to hole number 8, as I thank the PDGA for all of their support. Hole 8 is a blind turnover, right-handed turnover shot, or in Nate's case, well, just a park job with a right-handed forehand. They cannot see the basket. Yesterday, I was on the inside line near the trees that Philo just threw past. Instead, I decided to stay on the outside this time. See if I could get both the thrower and the basket eventually in view. And at 302 feet, I feel like there's so many options for discs here. And you just have to have a decent forehand, I think. I mean, Nate Perkins is above decent. He's certainly one of the better forehanders we see. But if you have a trusty backhand turnover or a solid forehand, Well, yeah, or even that. Land it right next to the pin, have it curl around. And we really saw Manabu committed to his turnover shots on a number of the holes, really taking a different line than most people. And that one had a good flight, but maybe just a little too much stability. Conrad making sure to give it a chance.
Come on, man. Get it in the air, dude. It's tailwind.
Philo talking about getting it in the air, it's a tailwind. And I spoke of that yesterday. Anytime you have a tailwind putt, it typically will push it down. When you have a headwind putt, it will lift the front of the disc. So Philo maybe a little frustrated that he didn't take his own advice, so to speak, heed his own advice, or what he had learned out there while waiting to putt. So that'll be my question of the day, as we're seeing a little bit of wind pickup. I think it's going to pick up more in the afternoon. Would you prefer a headwind or a tailwind putt? Headwind, again, typically going to lift it. Tailwind is going to push it down. Long or short range, doesn't matter to me. I'd like to know, what are you more comfortable putting in? A headwind or a tailwind? That's the question. Put it in the comments. You're going to be eligible to win an Innova disc with a Disc Golf Guy stamp on it. Well inbounds, if you look off in the distance, you can see the basket on this par 4 to close out the front 9, 541 feet. You need something more special than just a huge crush to even think about getting this one all the way to the pin. He's going to have more than 120, 150 feet maybe to the pin from there. And unlike a few of the other par 4s out here where I feel like eagle is really obtainable, as you watch Jacky, he's actually filming his card mates just to prove to you how much of a student of the game he is, student and or fan, as he's got this tremendous honor playing with the US DGC champion. And multiple times during Saturday's round, I saw him doing that as well, where he actually had his own phone out and was filming his fellow card mates, which just puts a smile on my face thinking about it. As the young 22-year-old blessed with such an opportunity and really becoming the bright shining star that he clearly is, and hanging with these guys as he sits just 2 off the lead from Philo. For the second day in a row, we see Philo with the forehand approach. Best for the wind that was coming across his body. Oh, we found something taller than James. I decided to use it as the backdrop. And really just making it look easy here as they're all approaching Jacky, who had the longest drive in the group. Any other thoughts, comments, suggestions you might have, definitely put them in the comment section. But again, tell me if you like headwind or tailwind putts. Make sure you like, share, subscribe, do all of that other fun stuff. Really hit that like button, means a lot. That helps spread the love around in the YouTube algorithms. And then when you leave a comment, that also makes you eligible to win a disc, thanks to Innova Champion Discs, along with the Disc Golf Guy vlogs. So some solid putting, really no major storylines unfolding here other than Jacky's continuing to maintain pace. He sits 2 behind the leader. Nate Perkins is trying to close things in a little bit as he momentarily is tied for second. But they still have plenty of golf to play. I've got more action to bring you. I got to thank the Asia Open crew, Mac and Gary and Quan, everyone that I've been working with, like I said, plus our sponsors in the PDGA, along with Innova Champion Discs. Looking forward to seeing you guys on the back 9 of round number 3. Stay tuned. We'll see you then.
Love getting outside and challenging yourself to become better? How about spending time with family and friends, or just marveling at the pure joy of flight? Then you've come to the right place at the right time. Join the PDGA.
No, really, just click on the left side. That's to subscribe, and then click on the right to see more Asia Open playlist and coverage. Thanks for joining.